Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Burgers with Eric podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Burgers with Eric podcast. My name is Stephen James, your host. To my right is the white Rick Ross of South Florida, Eric Weingart. I love it. That's fantastic. Guys, to my left is the owner of Compassion Behavioral Health, Ryan Needle. Ryan is my boy.
What's up, guys?
What's up, man?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
What's up? State
I'm
champion.
good. Thank you guys for having me.
New York State champion wrestler. Bro, mega successful recovery treatment center maverick.
Badass from day one.
Just
apparently.
a fucking boss. We don't mess around with bums on the B with E podcast. Ain't that right, Sexy Lexi? Ryan, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, hell yeah, guys. Well, today we're going to talk to Ryan. We're going to talk about Ryan's past business ventures. We're going to do a little UFO conspiracy theories because apparently some of that shit just landed in Nevada, dude.
Or did it?
Or did it? We don't know. A couple of TRT results, a couple of good guys reached out to us, and some of the numbers are alarming, guys. So we'll touch on that. Uncle Steve is the fruit fairy today. Brought you guys some healthy mangoes from my tree in the backyard.
Appreciate that.
Hell yeah, they're
It's
delicious.
mango season.
It is mango season. It's
I
early.
realize that. Okay.
Early mango season. So we'll touch on that a little bit. A little Donald Trump indictment. We'll talk about why that's all fucked up. And then Uncle Steve's a hypocrite. We're going to talk about why that is.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, I'm a huge hypocrite. So, how was your night last night, buddy? I went to the Panthers' first NHL Finals victory in franchise history, and it was amazing.
It was cool, man. I hockey isn't my background, right? But you know, of course, moving down here now and seeing their success, I've been, I catch myself emotionally rooting for them. So I was really into it.
How about you, Ray? You watching?
A little bit. Being down here, it's surprising to see how the hockey fan base is.
Yeah.
Being in Florida, warm weather.
Transient as well.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
transient.
you don't grow up here playing hockey.
Yeah. So,
Western New York,
Western
you
New
clearly
York. Yeah.
Well, now that's not true anymore, right? Because Ryan and Corey, they went to Boca High in 1997, 1998. And they had a fucking hockey team.
Well, I'm sure they had. Here's what
but that's 25 years ago.
Yeah. I'd be curious what it's like today. I'd be curious to see how much
me too.
hockey's grown in the high school in 25 years.
Me too. Anybody watching from South Florida that knows what the hockey programs look like in high school, feel free to drop a comment. Okay, Ryan, what's up, man? Tell us about Compassion Behavioral Health and your journey to get there, bro. What got you started in recovery?
Well, let's take it back.
Yeah.
We'll start with I was living in Long Island after college. I'd moved down to Long Island as soon as I graduated college in Buffalo. And, I was, I had my own training business. I was training wrestlers. I was kind of doing like all sorts of things. I was just hustling. And, I was doing well, but my buddy that I grew up with had lived down here. He had moved down here. He had been down here for 10 years or so at the time, and he's like, he was in the jewelry business at the time, and I've always been like really creative and had a sense for things. And he was like expanding and looking for some help, and I offered an opportunity to move down, and I said,
To help
what
with the jewelry business, with the jewelry business.
with the jewelry business,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about this. I know exactly what you're
Interesting.
doing. And
So
it's
it was-
crazy. This might blow your mind.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So it was something I didn't know much about. I had like a Breitling, and I thought that was cool. And I'm like, yeah, I think jewelry will be fun.
Yeah.
And so and at the time I had nothing really holding me back. I was just, I had a bunch of friends, and I loved living there. But I was like, if it doesn't work out, I'll just move back.
Right.
I'd always come down to visit, and always loved it down here. So I said, why not? So a month later, I moved down. And
Now, how old are you at this time? Just
this
curious.
is 27, I think.
So you're not making a ton of money. at this time?
No.
Barely making it by, it sounds like. Like you just got a bunch of things going on. Okay.
Yeah. Long Island's expensive too, so it's, and at the time, most of my friends they're union workers. They were, had corporate jobs, and, I was contemplating that, but I knew I didn't really want to go down that route,
Right. Right.
A lot of people face that challenge right now.
It sounds like he knew he had an entrepreneurial spirit, younger on. Am I right with that?
Yeah. I mean, not to get too sidetracked or off topic, but even when I was a little kid, I would go away on these wrestling, tours and tournaments, and one summer I was 11 years old. I was traveling across the country, and one of our stops was San Diego, and then we went over to Tijuana, and for the day you would walk around at all the shops, and they were selling, they would sell all sorts of things. So
little trinkets and like tourism kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I met this guy who was selling these Oakley sunglasses, and they were $100, in the store, 120. And I'm talking 1996.
Yeah.
And so I buy 5 pairs. They're $5 each. I bring them back, and I get the guy's business card. And as soon as I get home, my brother was older than me, and my dad had worked, with a bunch of guys, and they came over and they all bought them off me. They were like, how much for these? It's I don't know, $40, $45. Sold them all in 2 days. And I'm calling the guy from Mexico for more.
Yeah.
So at the time, Western Union, and
wow.
So I start, bringing in dozens at a time, and I'm just selling these things. And
you got a sunglass
so that was my first
hustle at 11 years old.
11, 12.
That's dope. That's dope.
Knock off Tijuana.
Wow.
It's awesome.
That's crazy.
But they looked good. They were perfect.
Yeah, I remember those. So that's what kind of sparked the entrepreneurial spirit. Holy shit!
Yeah,
I can buy low and sell high, and it's this easy.
Exactly.
No doubt. So where do we go after that? Because now let's rewind it back to the jewelry business, and let's get into what that led to. And when I found this out, I was like, "What?" We went to dinner.
Now, when he makes this call to you, he says he wants to help you with the jewelry business. Does he want you slanging selling the jewelry? Does he want you working in the back, stocking stuff? What's his pitch to you?
Yeah, it was at the time it was a cash for gold store. So gold was high. It was $1,800, $1,900, and he was getting all this jewelry, this quality jewelry, breaking it up, and one direction could be one direction to kind of add, kind of what we were talking about a little bit before, to add to what we're already doing was. Private jewelry, private sales for, engagement rings, custom jewelry. There's a lot of routes you can go in jewelry. You can get in watch niche. You can just do, diamond, flipping. So at the time, it was created, an eBay store, and that kind of build this personal market for, custom stuff. So we started doing that, and we were doing engagement rings, private jewelry, private clients, engagement rings, working, with a designer, and just starting to build out the store, an online presence in an online store. So we're doing the, cash for gold, and then, building up a retail side.
Very cool. So you started making some money. The business started taking off.
Yeah, doing the jewelry thing, and we were working. We were working with this guy that we knew that we were working with, also in the jewelry business, and he had opened up a outpatient center for addiction and mental health. And Mike and I were looking to do something else, kind of, I think at the time, we thought more is better, trying to diversify and add more stuff versus focusing on, one thing and really doing it well.
Yeah. So there's a very common trap, by the way. More.
Is, yeah.
Add another channel. That never works. Always concentrate on what you're best at, right?
Yeah, I agree 100%. So, you kind of speed it up. We decided to partner up with someone and open up an outpatient facility. And, I grew up with addiction in my family. My mother, my father, I mean, when I was little, I was going to AA meetings with my father.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you've been around it.
So I was around it. And, when we were talking about this and doing it, it was something that like resonated with me. And, I felt kind of drawn to, growing up with it, and just wanting to help people.
Yeah, because you saw the, not to get too personal with you, but, all of us have some type of horror story, right? But you saw the devastation of alcoholism, the struggle with it, right? The human element to it, the addiction side of it. So clearly, it's almost like, not to get religious with you, but this must have felt like your calling, right?
It did, yeah. And it's, weird. I never thought, I would be in this business, or never thought like, this is what I'm going to do. But once I started and really started to understand it and really get involved in it and start to really focus on it, that's kind of where I shifted and, really wanted to focus on, growing that and building that into, a sustainable, long-term business, where, it's, not just about a quick, dollar, but building an actual, brand and, something that's going to last for a long time.
Longevity, yeah, it's key. A lot of people are they get started in business for kind of the wrong reason, especially in the online space. I had a conversation with our last guest today, Nate. We talked to Nate today at like 10:30. And, when he found out that I was more interested in building a brand with not only the sweepstakes, but with the future nutraceutical products that we're going to do, he was floored. He's like, oh, yeah, that makes me 50 times more excited because that's what they do best, right? Like they can help you make $50,000 a month, but it'll blow up, right? And that was one of the concerns, and thankfully I cleared that up. But a lot of people do get into business for the wrong reason, and and it's awesome, and it served you extremely well, building that long-term brand and building a team around you. Now, how many employees do you guys have now? Oh, I guess don't let me interrupt that. Continue.
So, I think when you have a passion for something too, it makes a big difference in, your outcomes and, the success of a business.
Yeah.
Versus, like you said, just trying
For
to...
sure. Chasing the money and
yeah.
stuff. Right.
It makes the hard times a little bit more worth it too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the struggle's a little bit more worth it for sure.
Agreed.
So when did the switch flip, I guess? When did it go from, kind of an idea to, fully executed, up and running, like, oh shit, this is working, Because that's always a moment when you're testing something, right? Especially when it comes to working for yourself, that, oh my God, this is working. Now we have systems and processes. So how long did it take you from hatching the idea to, okay, this is executable?
So a lot went into like the startup process. It's an industry that none of us really had experience in except one. So we kind of all brought different qualities into it to get it up and going. And so we did we hired a consultant for licensing and started to hire recruiters and stuff to get the right staff in place and build a team. But it wasn't till probably a good year, I would say, till it's actually there's systems, processes, you starting to build out your departments and things like that, where it actually was something.
See, that doesn't seem that long to me, actually.
No.
I think that's pretty short from just in the stories I've heard. I mean, that to me, that sounds like I want to say rapid success.
Yeah, no, a year is quick.
Good.
And again, this goes back to what we were talking about last week, right? A lot of these young guys, 18, 20, 25-year-old guys, they grew up with instant gratification. So, you sit a 20-year-old kid down and be like, hey, it's going to take you 12 to 18 months to get something off the ground. They're like, nah, fuck it. I'll just go play video games. Right.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, but that's our generation, right? Like, how old are you now?
38.
Yeah. So he's right in, right at the tail end of when we grew up. So you still had almost an analog childhood, meaning you've probably seen a rotary phone. You probably put your fingers in a rotary phone. Any 18 to 20-year-old kid
he was
today,
probably 2 or 3. Yeah,
yeah, 100%. Right? You know what I'm saying? They were being phased out.
Yeah.
Like in college, I had a cell phone because I was fucking cool. But, they were just coming out. They didn't do anything but make phone calls. So, a year of planning and executing the systems and processes and licensing and all that stuff. And then what happened? Like, what was your trigger to become majorly successful as you are now?
And don't get me wrong, like that, even after a year, I was still like involved in doing a lot of things that, still weren't up and running. You know what I mean? So I'm like, had my hands in like a lot of pots still trying to make sure that, it would, things were smooth.
Right.
So, fast forward, we're, 8 years in now. We have over 100 employees.
Wow.
And from that time until now, I mean, it's night and day, and you guys know, you learn as you go and there's a lot of mistakes, it would cost a lot of money, to learn, but, learning those things helped me, get here.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Question out of curiosity. Sorry, but let me ask you this. Do you think, don't mean to interrupt you, by the way, do you think that for someone listening right now, right, this business you got into, do you think there's like a demand for it? Like, do you think there's like obviously we're here in South Florida, but do you think in Wichita, Kansas, there's an absolute need for this and someone could or should be considering investing into something like this? Is there a massive demand, or would you say it's a saturated type market?
No, I mean, mental health and addiction is on the rise. Unfortunately, to say that, but it is.
Yeah.
And especially with COVID, the amount of mental health, issues that have become a result of COVID, and it's just climbing. So, to answer your question, it's everywhere, mental health and addiction, and a lot of people don't realize how close it is to them.
Yeah, no, because a lot of times it's secret, but so Wichita, Kansas, right? I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the more rural areas where there's less stuff to do, you probably find pockets of more, substance abuse, and even the mental side of it too is now once a taboo subject is now starting to come to the forefront of popular culture, and people are no longer afraid to talk about mental health.
Yeah, it's becoming more mainstream.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Thank you.
Actors, actresses that are coming
athletes too. Yeah.
Well, it's one in 7 people have mental health issues or disorder.
Wow, that's a staggering number.
It is.
Wow.
Yeah. How many of those 1 in 7 actually seek treatment?
I don't know. There's different types of treatment. There's inpatient, which what we do inpatient and outpatient, but you can see a private therapist that could help, a psychiatrist, even that, like you said, seeing a psychiatrist before and back in the day, it was something people would hide.
Yeah.
Now it's becoming more common, and people are more likely or more active in seeking help, and even just with the psychiatrist, one step to at least identifying issues that are going on.
Yeah, it's as a man, right? Like growing up, like that's almost considered like weakness, right?
Yeah.
Whereas today, it's it's more accepted. It's you're actually weaker not to go seek help. Right?
Yeah, and it's still something that spreading that awareness. A lot of occupations like law enforcement, still, the shit that they've seen, they deal with. There's a lot of PTSD, and but that profession is they're old school. They don't want to talk about it because they're tough. They're afraid that maybe they're gonna lose their job or get their
Right.
badge taken away or their gun taken away. So there's still a lot of barriers in that in that sense.
Yeah. No, I can imagine.
I have a psychology background. I don't know if you know that or not.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I didn't.
Do you really?
Yeah. And I actually wanted to get involved in clinical psych. So that was really my I wanted to get involved with clinical psych because, when you go through and it's probably trying to diagnose myself over the years.
Yeah,
right?
no
That's
doubt.
literally
No doubt.
probably what it was. Yeah. But psychology was actually one of the only things that I was ever interested in school. So I hated social studies. I hated English. And when I went to college the first time, I failed. Oh. Then I went into the military. And then in the military, I took one psychology class. And for the first time in my life, I was actually interested in something outside of girls or sports, right?
Yeah.
And I was actually fascinated with it. So I really had this passion and urge to go down that route, which is fascinating because so it sounds like everybody in your team, does anybody even have a medical background or it's all business backgrounds? The founders
ownership
of
team?
Yeah.
On the business side, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which which kind of common in this. You'll see sometimes doctors that'll get involved, but sometimes doctors don't have that business sense either. So it's seeing successful facilities that that do well with the doctor owned. Sometimes just doesn't.
No, I get that. They don't have the business acumen.
Yeah.
It makes total sense.
Frequent.
I'm just thinking of someone listening to this going, wow, I would love to start a treatment center. And they're like, but what the hell do I know about, treatment? But if you have a business sense, you can put it together.
It's like anything. Yeah. You figure it out. There's a lot of, moving parts. It's all about the team, building a strong team, building the right team, getting the right people.
And is that what you would attribute your success to now as it is an ongoing operation? You attribute the success to having the correct people in place, or what? Like what's the secret sauce, I guess, for anybody listening? Like what is making your business run as smooth as it does and be as successful as it is? Is it the people? Is it the processes? What do you think?
I mean, it's a combination, the product, the service.
Yeah.
You need, an exceptional service.
Right.
Reputation is a big thing, especially in my business.
Yeah.
So, having a good product with good outcomes is probably number one. And then, building the right team,
Right.
Getting the team, with experience, getting, the right, staff that, can help it grow and
So
help
how do you
deliver
do
a
that?
good product.
How are you doing that? Like, because again, most people's challenges, like that's a recipe for success. And I don't care if, again, you're selling shoes or an online business or a recovery business, right? The people at the top are only as good. That's what makes the organization, right? So the biggest challenge, in my opinion, to running and maintaining a successful business is where are you finding good help? Like where, because I know our mutual friend Mike has a huge problem, hanging on to good employees, whether that's the nature of his business or what, but
that's a national.
Yeah. So for you, share the secret sauce. Like how have you been able to recruit good, awesome people that are making your business more valuable? How are you able to do that?
It's not easy. It's not like you can just start, finding people. That's the toughest part. That's definitely the toughest part is getting good people. I think, knowing when to let people go too is important, to when someone's not working out or they're not the best fit, to moving on from them and finding someone that's better. Yeah. And it's, it takes time. I mean, you can go through, you can, recycle the turnover, until you get someone, and you have to just do it. You have to be involved. You have to learn, you have to identify the type of, culture, characteristics, you want to, the characteristics in people that you want, to fit your culture. And, and I think leadership too is, it starts at the top, just, being a good leader, setting the precedent and
The tone for how things are going to go.
An expectation.
expectation, 100%.
That's good. But where are you finding the most success finding employees through recruiters or how's that?
Well, as you go, I think the hardest part in the beginning, and especially a startup, is you have no credibility, right, as a business. So for someone that's, at a business that's been around for a long time, it's hard to pull, those people with experience, unless you're offering like, crazy incentives or, profit sharing or equity. So over time that becomes easier because you're building credibility. Your business is becoming, more reputable. So it becomes a little bit easier to start to, recruit from other places, recruit from other healthcare organizations. So that's where, it's kind of shifted over the past few years, in that sense. Outside of that, it's, recruiters, it's, we have an HR department that's constantly interviewing. It's getting people too before you need them.
Yeah.
I think is important.
Having the foresight to see what you need to staff for.
Staffing, so you're not scrambling when you need someone. You're hiring because you have to hire quick, because you have to fill a position.
Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster.
And being able to bring them on early, and prior to having, knowing that, in 3 months, we're going to be, at this point, and we're going to, need this role filled or need an extra person in this department. So bringing them on, having a good training process, and not rushing them through that. The training is important as well.
Yeah.
I did a lot of sales management for a long time, and like I would manage salespeople. I always, tell me if you agree with this or not, right? I always felt like you could tell people they're gonna, it's clear when they're getting ready to quit. Like it's so obvious. It rarely comes out of the blue, I feel like, right?
Yeah.
Isn't there usually like a few months of, well, I hope they get it together, but really they've already mentally quit.
Yeah.
Right? And what it took me a long time, because at first, when I was in my 20s, late 20s, I was like too nice. But then once I got into my young 30s, mid 30s in that role, I would realize like, oh, hey, what's going on here? Come on.
And that's the thing with keeping them too long.
Exactly.
Because when someone's not a good fit, but you're constantly trying to figure out where they can be a good fit. Now, some people, may be a better fit in a different position or just, adjusting their responsibilities to their strengths. But, oftentimes, even with me, I still find where I can get better at, knowing and pulling the trigger right away, knowing that they're, not a good fit, instead of, trying to maybe they'll get better. Maybe they'll, maybe I'll give them a little more incentive or, adjust some things that they're doing. Maybe they're just, having personal problems. Yeah. But, once you're just afraid to
Agreed. Once you know, that's my point. Yeah.
I'm terrible at it.
Really?
Yeah. The company that bought me is like, hey, you got to go fire this guy. And I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I don't know. I don't know what that is about me that I just.
Softy.
It's not comfortable.
It's
it's
super uncomfortable. I don't. And I had every reason, but part of it was. My own rules that we talked about in the commandments episode is like, do what you say you're going to do. Well, the parent company didn't provide what the expectations were going into the whole relationship. So it's like, no, I can't. I hate being that hypocrite that's like, hey, we're going to do this, and this. And the guy's like, yeah, let's go do that. And the company drops the ball and they're like, no, you fire him. I'm like, no, fuck you. You do it. You guys drop the ball. I'm not going to look like an asshole in that way.
Well, if you got so there's two different things here, right? So like if you see a single mom and you know she's relying on this income, she's got a 4-year-old daughter, let's say, and if the company's just making, like, if it's just a management decision, we just got to get rid of numbers, that's a hard fire.
Yeah, that's terrible.
That's an awful fire.
Yeah.
Like, it's tough emotionally. But we've seen this all the time. Someone leaves one corporation, they go to another corporation, and they're thriving in that next corporation. So if someone isn't thriving in your corporation, the way I started to deal with that, like the emotional part of it, is I'm actually doing them a disservice by not firing them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a different mindset.
Good way to look at it. Yeah.
Like, I'm actually, because the truth is this, when I let you go, it will be a wake up call, and you might have a rough couple months, but you probably are likely to thrive somewhere else. It's almost like being in an unhappy
Like
relationship.
hold them back. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how I emotionally used to deal with it.
That's good. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
That goes in the bank.
Yeah. Nice. That'll be a good short. That'll be a good short.
I like that. Okay, dude, that's amazing. So, how many locations you got now? I know you got a couple.
Yes, we have a couple locations in Hollywood, Florida. Different levels of care. I've been involved in other locations as well. Throughout the country. So, we're growing and looking at other opportunities here in the near future. So, just trying to help more people.
I have a soft spot for people with addiction. I'll tell you why. My uncle was alcoholic, crackhead, died at early age, right? So number two, I always give people this story. I'm sure, like most people, you guys did some recreationally dumb things when you're younger, right? We all experiment with things, right? I'm not going to say this guy's name. I'm never going to name drop people because it's a sad story. But when I was 23 years old, I was all drunk. And my buddy goes to me, he goes, "Hey, do you want to try this Oxycontin?" And I go, "Well, yeah, how does it make you feel?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun." He goes, "I've never tried it." You go, "Well, fuck it, let's try this Oxycontin together." So we both do it. And yes, it was a euphoric feeling. This is 20 years ago, by the way. I'm not talking about yesterday.
You don't have time to pop oxys, bro.
So, but this is the story I'm going to give you here is the difference between addiction and like someone who it was recreational for, right? So he takes it and he's all messed up. And I remember the very next day, I'm throwing up like crazy. I had the worst day of my life, and I never did it again in 20 years. He's been hooked ever since.
Wow.
Well, that's the difference between, someone, that has addiction.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
In them and the qualities where, you have a shut off, you can, an addict doesn't, so it's.
And that's why I have that soft spot, because I don't think God or whoever the heck made us, I don't think our bodies physiologically were made the same.
You're right.
So so sometimes when people are really hard on addicts,
they're saying, well, why can't they just stop? Why, they can't. There is no shut off.
They have a different chemistry, and I'm not saying you just give them all a pass, right? Because there does have to be a little bit of tough love. I'm assuming a little here and there, right? But dude, that to me, that story always sticks with me, because he became a heroin addict. Ever since that day,
which is common. The oxys lead to heroin.
I'll give you another story. So I had, have you ever had surgery? Mm-hmm. What surgery you had done?
Elbow.
Elbow?
The last surgery I had was 7 years old.
You ever have surgery?
Yeah, I had shoulder surgery.
Okay. I had rotator cuff surgery when I was like 30 years old. Mm-hmm. And outside of my one Oxycontin that I tried, right? I had never tried like a Vicodin or any of these, painkillers before. So they give you a high dose of it when you have surgery. So I had to take whatever the amount was, 2 Vicodins every 4 hours for 7 straight days. So what is that? 12? That's like 144 Vicodins in a week if I just did my math right.
Damn. Jesus.
Yeah, it's because it's very painful. The shoulder is a very painful area, right? So when I remember, I'm not exaggerating this, I shit you not, after that 7th day, I remember looking at that little bottle being empty.
Yeah, panicking.
Kind of going, I wonder if I should call my doctor and say I'm still in pain because I want some more of those. Now, fortunately, I was able to break that week-long addiction, and after a day, I was fine. But I remember thinking to myself, shit, if someone hurt their back and they had to take it for 3 months, like, dude, addiction is real, man. And I think people are just my observation, are a little critical sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. And it's being manufactured. Like the addicts are being manufactured.
The opioid pandemic started was from, these medications doctors are prescribing. And
did you ever watch Dope Sick? You guys ever watch Dope Sick?
No, I never saw that.
You never
I
seen
don't think
Dope
so,
Sick?
no.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Oh, you gotta watch it. You have to watch it. It's all about that. What was the Purdue?
Purdue
Pharmaceuticals. That whole story.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I think I did see it.
It's really good. It goes into, literally they were showing these sales.
About the saleswoman, like that lady had that one place and they just kept, it was like a prescription mill.
Yep.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, I saw that one.
So, but you should watch it. It's a good.
I'll check it out for
Yeah,
sure.
it's crazy. And that happened down here. Like Florida was the pain clinic capital of the world.
Yep.
And then motherfuckers started getting arrested and thrown in jail, bro.
People that drive from all over the country.
Yeah,
right?
That's what they
Just
show
come
in
here.
there. Yeah. They're driving from South Carolina, getting all their dope
And heading back.
and heading back.
Dude, it was literally, in the movie, it's literally like a warehouse and all it is fucking prescriptions. That's it.
Wow.
It's crazy, man. But what'd that lady make? Like fucking $5 billion or some shit.
Something outrageous. Yeah.
It's wild. But this is kind of a good seg into the UFO/conspiracy thing because again, I think dude, I'm not pro government whatsoever, but I think that it's evident with just the COVID vaccine, right? Just the COVID diagnoses alone. These guys are. It's not a conspiracy theory. This is what happened. These guys, the doctors and hospitals, were incentivized to write down the cause of death, A, as COVID, B, the prescriptions. How much money did they make off of these shots? How much money did they make?
Record years. Pfizer, or what's the other one? Moderna. Record years.
Even the COVID testing too.
Yeah.
The amount of money just off testing.
So what does that tell you about the addiction thing? Again, it just goes back to the overall theme of destroy the men in this country and it will fall like a leaf. And that's what's happened, right? So all these guys returning from war, from Afghanistan and Iraq and all this stuff, they're shunned and there's nowhere to go. And a lot of times they're in pain and then they get written these oxy prescriptions. And like you said, bro, I've only taken a Vicodin once, right? And it didn't do anything for me. So I was just like, fucking whatever. I don't see what the big deal is, right? But I think it's all part of a grand scheme. Now, the other day, I'm looking at my Instagram, and Gateway Pundit, take it for what it is, right? They're kind of one step away from QAnon, if I'm being honest. But bro, there's a video, and I pull it up right here. UFO crashes in Las Vegas. Police body cam captures mysterious event as residents report encounter with non-human beings. If anybody's have you seen that? I sent it to you. You saw it. Did you see this?
I didn't see it. No.
Bro. Eric, give me a take on that.
Listen, everybody knows I was married before,
Yeah.
right? At my 2017 wedding, right? Worst mistake of my life, by the way. At that 2017 wedding, you know that, right, Lex? So my buddy got up, my best man, Andy, and he even talked about, he's doing his best man speech. He's drunk, and he's like, yeah, and don't talk to Eric too long tonight or else you're going to be talking about aliens, because I was obsessed. I truly was. I was obsessed. And what I came to realize is not to spoil the fun, but like if you believe there's deception, like do we all agree that there's government deception?
Fuck yeah, man.
Right?
Yeah, that's their job.
And okay, if there is deception, then how much deception is there, and how much control do they really have?
And how far does it go?
And how far does it go? So can you trust what you see on Fox? Can you trust what you see on, YouTube? I mean, it's like if the deception goes as deep as I think it goes, it's very hard for me to trust anything I see. And maybe I'm too skeptical, but I want to believe that like some little weird little guy's going to come out and talk to me and like talk to an alien. I think it'd be cool, but I just actually don't think it's real at all.
No?
Sorry to spoil the fun.
Bro, okay, so how do you explain this whistleblower comes on, goes, we have this guy, dude, it's right here. I'm looking at the guy's fucking face. And I saw this one too. He's like, I am a part of a secret UFO retrieval program. And on his fucking face, it sounds ridiculous. It's normal people.
That's like,
that's fucking crazy.
How many people saw this? How many people are like reporting it?
Dude, I'm telling you.
Is it one person?
No. It was like a whole neighborhood.
People?
The video on Gateway Pundit, and I watched it. It's this fucking cop's body cam, and they're like, "Yeah, no, we don't know, but there was like an 8 foot to 10 foot tall being around it, and like." You can tell when people are fucking acting. These people were freaked the fuck out, man. They definitely saw something. And here's the thing, and I see you looking at me like that, and I know you're goofy ass fucking conspiracy theorists. But let me tell you something, bro. And I know you don't even fucking believe.
You're
it.
actually sitting here telling me you believe some video you saw. Like one of the smartest people I know. He's going, I saw it. I read it. I saw it.
No. It's plausible, and the reason it's plausible is because you got to be a real fucking asshole if you don't think we're not alone, right? It's mathematically fucking impossible for us to be this little blue dot in the middle of all the vastness of the universe, and we're the only fucking place that has life on it. You're out of your mind. Now, think about this. Just in the last 100 years, we went from barely being able to fly airplanes to Neuralink. Right? Like, fucking Musk is going to put chips in your brain that can predict. Like, bro, that's 100 years. The planet's 15 billion years old. Okay, if you subscribe to what we're taught, right? Yeah. So just in the grand scheme of time, there is no fucking way we're the only people here.
Ryan, what do you think? We got some aliens. What do you think?
Oh, I agree with Steve, yeah. To the extent, I heard... which I thought was pretty interesting, this concept that they're hibernating. Have you heard that?
No.
Where they're hibernating for millions of years, and they send, and this is all like just crazy,
Yeah.
Are you talking about the Transformers, bro? Are you?
Dude, I love going down these rabbit holes.
The guy that was in the ice. What was his name? Megatron was in the ice.
Megatron.
Maybe that's where it came from. No, I mean, it's just we're definitely not the only ones.
No, dude, it's a mathematical impossibility that we're the only life form.
It's crazy how no one's ever has at least that we know of has real footage. Things have come out, but it's not never clear, never like.
No, they're never going to show it to you. And the reason they'll never show it to you is because the second they're like, here's the fucking alien from planet XY 1352 from Sirius B. Okay, all of religion falls apart. It's all done. They simply cannot do it. This goes back to government control of what you consume and what you see. The news is exactly the same way, bro. It does exactly the same thing. There's no way. This fucking guy in this video, the whistleblower video on Gateway Pundit, is like, no, dude, we're in possession of many of them. And how do you explain going from the Wright brothers with fucking balsa wood covered in canvas to like 20 years later, the Germans with jet engine technology? How does that happen, bro?
I understand your thought process.
In like 20 years.
Here's you want to know what I believe is going on? Here's what I believe.
Yeah.
Tell me if you think this is plausible or not. Okay, so this is why I go into the deception of the government, right? We can all agree that a government it's hard to trust, right? Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just so you know, all this information that we get, like NASA is a government organization. Okay, so here's what I believe. I believe COVID was a test run.
100%.
Test run to see how fucking stupid. What the hell? My bad. How fucking stupid we really are. That's what I really believe.
Oh, and we're that dumb.
How many of these imbeciles can we get to hide in their fucking house, inject them with this bullshit? Let's see how many countries we can get to panic and how many people we can get to panic. And I think they go, this is a world of fucking idiots. So now I think they're like, okay, now it's time to do it. Let's pretend there's fucking aliens coming. Let's take our top technology, have it fly around the fucking world, take some pictures of it, and now what we have to do is we better all team up and create one world government to fight against the aliens.
Because they're dangerous.
That's what I believe.
Oh, dude, I'm right there with you. I subscribe to that. That is completely fucking plausible.
But I'd love to hang out with an alien. Like, I think it'd be
Hell
cool.
yeah.
Like, I'd love to.
What's your? You got a dick, bro?
And I'm sorry to kind of spoil it like that, but like that's just where I really think it is. And I think, I think.
But do you think there's aliens out there?
I would say, I would bet my life on it. There's not, and we can get to that some other time. Our podcast will get canceled if I actually tell you what's really going on.
We couldn't even put it on.
Yeah, we don't have the time for that today.
No, we have the time for it, but it's just not.
You wouldn't even be my friend anymore.
It's hard. It's hard to digest.
Yeah.
What he thinks.
My thing is this: if you let's say you see you're talking with a criminal, and the criminal has 16 felonies, and the criminal's telling you, "No, I swear I didn't do it this time." Like, you gonna believe him or not? Like that's just how I look at media and the government. Like I have,
and people are like, "Oh, the government said it. It must be
you
true."
see what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna believe this criminal with 16 felonies? Like, I'm sorry, you've lost your credibility.
Yeah.
But I see your excitement, and he just wants. To
I
meet
do.
an alien.
I want it to be true. I want it to be true so fucking bad because I can't stand it anymore. I can't take it. I need stupid mongoloids to just wake up and be like, "Oh my god!" Like I want to see a 10-foot fucking tentacle creature with like green and purple skin walking down Boca Raton Boulevard and renting an apartment at Boca Chica. That's what I want to do. I want to see that.
Listen, let's go. The other thing too is if you think about, and this will be like kind of like an aha for you too. Like I think they've been. What was the word you used for me the other day? Desensitization. What'd you say to me?
Yeah, desensitized. Yeah, Hollywood. Right. Because what you said was, why do you think Hollywood is so obsessed with aliens?
Yeah, because Hollywood is obsessed with aliens. Like if you go back to Star Wars, Star Trek, Transformers or aliens. There's literally not a single show or even these Captain Avengers and all these guys. They're all some sort of alien form, and I think it's just kind of this. I think it's been a master plan of eventually we're going to launch the fake alien attack. Because everybody believes that they're real.
Yeah, it could see. So what I think is, like in the 60s, 70s, and 80s when Star Trek and Star Wars and all that, I think it was just cute. And then they were like, oh shit, people are buying this. Right? And then you go into the 2000s, like Men in Black. And then like, oh God, what was the other one? Anyway, but yeah, Hollywood goes in like these cycles of themes for movies. If you really think about it, right? Mm-hmm. And Aliens was one of the things. And then also the end of the world movies, like Knowing and 2012 and all that stuff. Earthquake, the one with San Andreas, the one with The Rock, right? All these disaster movies. And I think it's designed to desensitize and to really condition the public that when shit does hit the fan, everybody's like, oh, you saw this before. Because if you read all the studies about 9/11, right, basically the entire world went into PTSD from watching that shit. And we can go on a whole other fucking rampage about that. All I have to say is Building 7 did not kill itself.
Yeah, that's a smoking gun in half.
100%.
Are you familiar with Building 7?
Yeah.
That's a smoking gun.
No. I think there can't be any. All right, there can't be.
Most people don't even know what you're saying because it was omitted. Not to go off on another tangent. Yeah. It was omitted from the 9/11 official report.
I know it's crazy. And by the way, they only spent what $1 million on it.
Yeah,
the official commission report, fucking $1 million. It's insane.
They did an official report on 9/11. They didn't even mention the Building 7 that collapsed.
Just next to it, right?
Yeah, free fall.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't see much on it.
No, dude. And look,
debris on a fucking piece of paper hit it. And fucking
right. A building collapses at free fall speed.
Yeah,
I see. Yeah, no. Jet fuel does not burn steel. Stop it. Yeah. Like if there's anybody alive right now, people will try to fight you, dude. If you talk to the wrong people about 9/11 being an inside deal, they'll literally try to fucking fight you. I saw the planes hit the building. Okay, great. It's a tube of aluminum. Yes, it's going 600 miles an hour. Guess what? It's not going to collapse at free fall speed. I'm sorry. It's a physical impossibility.
If you go back and look at the footage now, this is cool. I just randomly got into conspiracies, right? You're gonna hate yourself after I tell you this.
Okay.
You're gonna hate yourself.
Go ahead.
If you actually look at the planes and any footage, like try to pause, stop, pause, right, and try to look at it. Nothing hits it. It's all computer image.
Is that right?
I would bet my life on it. It's just a digital image. That's all it is.
So you're saying the planes didn't hit?
There were no planes.
Yeah, I don't know about no planes.
It was all
but
explosives in there. Now, okay, maybe there have been like a little missile or something, and they computer generated it to look like a plane, maybe. But go look at the footage tonight. You will.
But what about people that had cameras and like people shooting videos
all the information that the press and the government?
I don't buy that. I believe that airplanes actually hit the Twin Towers. Do I believe a couple Arabs that had training on a fucking single engine Cessna piloted a 727 into the fucking building? No, stop. Get the fuck out of here. Absolutely not.
Autopilot or remote controlled or something.
No chance. If we're to believe the official story that a couple of guys trained in Florida on a single engine Cessna, dude, ask any pilot you know. Hey, dude, do you think if you knew how to fly a single engine Cessna, you could get into a 727 and fly it into a building? They're going to look at you like you have a third head growing out of your ass. No, the Pentagon definitely was not hit by an airplane, dude. Absolutely not. It was a cruise missile. Get the fuck out of here. People are like, but I saw the wreckage. No, you didn't. That's the one that you got to go back and look at, right? Like, I do believe that the towers were hit by a plane. The Pentagon, absolutely.
You'll change your mind tonight when you look again. So let me ask you a cool question, right? With your badass, we didn't even talk about your wrestling, but you're obviously a badass athlete and wrestler and stuff, And let me ask you this. Me and Steve are strong dudes, right? We're all three phically capable men. Okay?
He would fuck us up, dude.
I know that. I love wrestlers. So let me ask you this. If two little men with little box cutters were on your plane telling you they're going to hijack the plane, like,
it's hard to believe that. And one person on the plane get to them.
Like,
it's crazy.
with a fucking box
cut me with a box
Someone
cutter. Watch what happens next.
Dude, bro, you could cut me all you want.
Cut me with a box cutter.
Smash your
Watch
head.
what happens next.
I'm gonna smash you.
Like, what?
What are these guys? 6'5", 320?
Like, yeah, if they're an NFL defensive lineman, maybe, but
But you're still gonna put up enough of a fight, and then once people see you hitting that guy over the fucking head with whatever you got,
those are business fights too. Tuesday morning, it's 80% men. It's business fights.
10 other people are gonna jump on top of that guy.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah, it's
no.
absurd.
There's no way. Just no.
Can we segue into that too? We skipped over your wrestling, man.
Let's
to me,
go back to it.
Sure. Tell me like your background, accomplishments. Like how good were you?
Yeah, so I grew up wrestling in Western New York. Started when I was 5 years old. My older brother, my cousin wrestled, my dad wrestled, and started early, at a young age, and it was just something I loved. As soon as I started, like literally the first day, and it was just something I wanted to do every day. I wanted to go to practice. I wanted to go to the tournaments, and it was like a passion. Like it was a passion of mine. And it kind of goes back to when you have a passion for something, it's easy to get good at it because that's all you think about. It's all you want to do. So yeah, when I was, I grew up, when I was 10, I went to Japan. I used to travel all over the country, all over the world. Germany, Austria, wrestling trips. So it was a big part of my life. It was, I did it year round. And
he's so humble. He won't even tell you his.
I know. Tell me how fucking
how many
good
times
you were.
did you win the state of New York?
How badass were you? That's what I want to know.
So in
he hates this. He can't stand it.
In high school, I was 3-time state champ. Wow.
Three times.
We get a round of applause for that.
Yeah,
that's fine.
hell yeah. So we're talking sophomore, junior, senior year in high school. You won the state. This is New York State.
So what was your record? Yeah, like what was your record each of those years? Because I had some buddies I played football and basketball. I had buddies that were wrestlers. Yeah.
The 3 years I won the states, I was undefeated.
Stop.
And,
So you didn't lose from sophomore, junior, and senior year?
So I won
100 no or something?
I took fourth my sophomore year.
Okay.
So I was 200. My record was 240 and 12.
Stop.
So,
240 and 12.
Wow.
and that's like just the high school season.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean at the time actually the state record was 242 for most wins in
No
state
way.
history. So I was just shy of like breaking that.
Wow.
Rochester had a really good program, Spencerport. Did you ever wrestle guys from Spencerport?
Familiar, yeah.
Yeah, the Borellis. Did you know the Borellis? Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah. Steve is one of my fraternity brothers.
You went to college with him,
I
right?
did, yeah. He was a little older than me.
Yeah,
They didn't have
Spencerport always,
Yeah.
had
They didn't
good
have a
team.
football team for a while because they didn't give a shit. They just wrestled.
I didn't need one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's crazy. So I know. Just tell them, man. When did you get inaugurated into the New York State Sports Hall of Fame? Or was it high school? Which one was it?
it was so Western New York Western New York Wrestling Hall of Fame, High School Hall of Fame. Few of those.
A few of them.
A couple of those.
So too many to keep track of. I don't even fucking know. I got all these trophies in my fucking office.
Look at all these medals I've
I
got.
don't know what they mean.
The fucking guy's got a box the size of your house. filled with
Full of wrestling. Now, did you wrestle in
insane.
college?
I did, yeah.
Cool.
So I went to Ohio State coming out of high
cool.
school. Was a big recruit coming out of high school. Went to Ohio State, and my whole career, like as when I was young, all the way through high school, I had a ton of success, and getting to college, it was I anticipated like continuing that success and doing as well as I did. Colleges, I had some setbacks. First tournament of the year, I think I broke my hand, so I was out, for a few weeks, and then I ended up dislocating my shoulder, and it was a dislocation where I literally had to go to the hospital for them to put me under to pop it back in because the trainers couldn't get my shoulder back in.
So far out. Shit.
So, I rehabbed it and it took, it was probably like 8 months, 9 months. And then the first day back, I dislocated it again.
Oh.
So I had to have surgery, and it was this whole long process. I was out for like a year and a half, between like being on and off.
Damn.
And I was never the same after, it was just a mental, wrestling is so mental. You wouldn't think, if you don't know, the sport, you wouldn't think it is, but it is, it's.
You got to think 3 moves ahead.
It's not even. It's about being, just confidence. It's just. I would say it's more mental than anything else.
So here's where my respect really grew for wrestling, because I played football and basketball, and it's during basketball season, so you don't even interact with those guys, right? In high school, right? Football, obviously, you got a few guys, right? So I became a huge MMA fan the past decade, really the past 5 or 6 years. I love it. So like I remember when I was a young kid, I used to ask my mom, "Hey, Mom, 4 years old, who could win in a fight, alligator or a bear?" It's like you want to. The reason why MMA is so cool is it's kind of like that young childish question. It's you're taking guys with different discipline backgrounds going against each other, and you can be the baddest fucking puncher in the world, but dude, you fighting a guy who can wrestle, you're toast. Yeah. And it is that and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I would say, are the two. Like those are the foundations of MMA. You got a guy who's superior at those. I mean, you're in for a long night, and it's usually not as pretty or as much of a highlight of a fight. But man, they get a grip of you, and
You're done.
You're done.
So I saw that, and when I realized that you don't fuck with wrestlers, my freshman year of college, right? This little kid Jimmy
Learned
from
the hard way.
No, not me. I learned by observation. Little kid Jimmy from Long Island. Wrestling team, right? Little guy. He was 5'4", maybe 5'4". big, huge, strong football player live in our building, right? And they're fucking with each other. He's like, I'll fuck you up, man. And Drew's like, all right, come on, let's go. And dude, he had him pinned with like one finger. This guy's laying on his fucking face. Wow. And this little dude's got this giant human just. And I'm like, oh no, we don't mess with the wrestlers, bro.
There's this. This is probably 15 years old, maybe 10 years old, and this is MMA. But there was, I'm sure we could find it on YouTube. But there was, I think it was a University of Texas linebacker, big dude. I think they said he was 6'2", 250, right? And he came outside of like an Austin, Texas nightclub. I think it was Austin. I'm pretty sure he was down there, and he's like smacking people around. He's like raging. And he's even hitting some women. And then they show this, there's this MMA fighter, I forget his name, and you can see his buddy grab him. Like the MMA fighter wants to go, like, settle the scene, take care of the scene. And his buddy grabs him. I can't remember what his guy's name is, but he goes, don't do it. You're going to go to jail. You're going to go to jail. Don't go do it, right? Knowing that his buddy, who's 5'9", 165 is about to go cause havoc with this dude, right?
Wreck this guy.
All you see is the camera shaking, and everybody goes, oh! And then they show the camera, the linebacker's laying flat on his fucking face. He's unconscious, and everybody's running. So yeah, dude, I've been trying to, I don't know if you follow MMA, man, but it's, you know what it is, dude? It's way more technical than physical than I ever realized. Sports.
Yeah, and I mean, to go back to wrestling, that wrestling's the same way. It's all,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's all it's technical. It's it's repetition. It's all reaction, and it takes you're shooting a double leg, single leg, thousands and thousands of times, getting into different variations and different, just feeling different, angles, and it's all repetition, and you get that feel, of reaction, and that's why I think they transition so well, because whether you're on your feet, you're on the mat. You're just, you know how to react. Even if you don't know jiu-jitsu, very well, you don't know how to throw a punch very well, you still know how to react, and you have that sense of, reaction, followed with, some sort of, action. So, they pick, and I think you can pick up on, the other sports easier starting with that, that foundation.
Yeah, if I could pick one foundation, if I had to be, it would be wrestling. Yeah, for sure.
And growing up, wrestling was never like a big sport. It was never like publicized. The NCAA tournament would be on ESPN, the finals, right. Once a year. It was never publicized, and now it's getting more publicity. Just hearing athletes, pro athletes talk about it. Talk about the benefits and how they help them in their sport, and all the MMA, fighters, bringing it to light. Bring it to light, yeah. And even with, I think with business, it helps, with discipline, work ethic.
For sure.
Wrestlers kind of have to, they have to have that, in order to, do well. So it's, carries on in life. Oh, and I think that's the biggest thing, for me, growing up was, learning and understanding that at a young age, that discipline, knowing, that I don't have to, but I enjoy doing something every single day consistently, over the course of, 15 years. And, and that's what it takes, to get good at something. So I kind of carry that, like, with my business and anything else, just doing, a lot of it's just boring shit, doing the boring work just over and over and over again. And that's same with wrestling, shooting a single leg 1,000 times.
Yeah. That's ultimately the recipe to make a successful man. Right. So, advice on that, I'm going to take that for my kids, because I want to put both of my kids in martial arts, or at least to teach them another level of discipline that, hey, mommy and daddy aren't going to be the only ones telling you what to do throughout your life. You have to listen to other people, but it sounds like that is the recipe for a successful man, which is having the entrepreneurial spirit, which you did at a very young age at 11, and then really embracing that repetitive nature with discipline as something that you actually like doing. So, people are lost, man. There's a lot of lost young men in this world. And then, I tell people all the time, well, how do you make money doing what you're doing? And I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter how I make money. It's what you love, right? It's what you love. You start your podcast on, MMA. You start your podcast on crafts, right? You start your podcast on, autistic kids, whatever the fuck you're passionate about, right? That's what's going to come through. And then if you have that resiliency that wrestling instilled in you, and even growing up with, parents that had substance abuse problems, that did more for you mentally, I'm sure that maybe you even realized.
Yeah.
So
as I got older, I realized that.
Right. And dude, and that's another thing, right? All these parents today want to shield their kids from adversity and challenge and failure. That you're not fucking doing them a service. You're doing them a disservice, right? You cannot see success until you fail millions of times. How many times did it take you to really shoot a single leg right? You said thousands of repetitions. It probably took you 5 years to shoot it like a pro, bro.
Easily, yeah.
And again, people don't understand that. You have to fucking fail. You have to fail. You must crave failure in order to get to where you want to go. So that's a good spot right there. I want to talk about how Uncle Steve is an absolute hypocrite.
Oh yeah, you are. You're full. And here's the thing: it's not even like it's a month later. Like the very next week.
Fucking 7 days.
Put it on
what?
7 days. Okay, so Uncle Steve. Last episode we talked about, buying the shiny gold watch and all that shit doesn't mean anything, right? And now I said that knowing that I had a gold Hublot and a titanium Hublot for sale at my buddy's shop in Wellington. Right, and as soon as we were done with that podcast, he's like, "Oh, hey, I'm back from vacation in Monaco. It looks like we sold your gold watch." And I'm like, "Oh, great! When can I come pick the fucking money up?" And he goes, "Come Monday." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll come over there Monday." Now, my two buddies are Rolex snobs. My podcast partner is a Rolex guy. Okay, and I'm looking, and I'm like, "Oh, there's my silver Hublot in the case." He cuts me a check for like $13,500 or whatever for the gold one. And I'm like, talk to me about these Rolexes. What's the fucking big deal? Because they never really done anything for me. What's the big deal? He's like, oh, man, 150-year-old company, however old it is. I don't know. I haven't gone under the home, right? They hold their value, right? Now, Hublots don't. They were like the it thing, 2010s. That was like the it new up-and-coming watch. Rolex are fucking timeless. They do not lose value. They are the Porsche of the watch community, bro. And there's so many different variations and so much history to them that it blew me away. So I'm like, okay, you still got the silver one. What's that one you got there in the case?
Ching, ching.
Right? He goes, oh,
bling, bling.
That's the Explorer too. He goes, how about this? Let's trade you the silver one, because the silver Hublot is like $7,800, something like that. He goes, on consignment, I'll probably cut you a check for $5,000. He goes, the tag on this one's $11,000. He goes, I'll sell it to you for like, I don't know, like $8,250. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to give you another $3,000. I go, how about $2,500? He goes, yeah, let me go rewrite the check. So he gives me the watch, writes the check for $11,500 or $11,000, and I walk out with a Rollie.
How long have you had that one?
Maybe 6 months, something like that.
But no, so I want to tell you why. I want to tell you why I'm a hypocrite, right? And why I did this. This is the reason I did this, right? And stay on it. But Eric said something the other day. He's like, "You realize this is only for marketing, right?" And I was like, "You know what? That makes a lot of sense. Not that I'm a camera guy. Like I'm not. I don't appear in a lot of social media stuff by design. I don't like it, and it's not.
Hence the name Burgers with Eric. It should be Burgers with E and Steve.
It should be Big E and Uncle Steve's podcast.
We can switch it up.
We're not going to. But no, when we go out to events and stuff like that, right? It's kind of a status thing that you might like, right? So
You gotta have one nice piece.
right, of course, you gotta have something. And the reason I picked this one and not the $21,000 gold one, the fucking guy is trying to, because I don't want that, right? Okay, it'll say, okay, this guy has arrived. He's kind of punched his ticket. He's not a bum. He's not wearing a fucking swatch. Right?
Yeah, it's subtle.
It's subtle. It's up. You can wear it up. You can wear it down. Okay,
Exactly.
it's a versatile watch. Am I gonna go buy fucking 30 of them? No, unless I start getting into the watch flipping business, which I'm not gonna do. So that's it. That's my hypocrite story.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
No, it was the other day I was going through, we're in the process of moving. So, just going
Steve
through.
said you got a nice house coming up. Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's exciting.
Sick house.
So, we're just getting shit together and, getting stuff out from shelves and stuff. And, I'm looking through a box. I bought Rolex a few years ago. Actually, it was like 2017. And I'm looking at the price of it then. And compared to prices now, like it's more than doubled from what I paid for it. And it's like, fuck, I wish I would have bought like,
I know 10 of them.
10 of them. Jesus.
No, that's the beauty of Rolex, man. It's an investment. So that's good.
It's an asset,
100%. Yeah, the Hublot
it won't lose value.
The Hublot is the
no matter when you buy it.
Hublot is the McLaren of cars, meaning the second you buy one, you're getting kicked in the teeth. And Rolex is the Porsche of cars. Yeah. The longer the thing exists, the more it's worth. It's fucking crazy. Eric, it's we're like an hour plus here, buddy. I kind of want to talk. I want to wrap this up with the text message you got about the TRT stuff.
Oh yeah, no, this was cool, man. So let me give you, and this is, me and Steve started this. I think we just like talking. It gives us something to do every week, and it's evolving every week. And we're just. But I'll tell you this. My reason for saying that is I've had a few rewarding responses from people. One of my buddies hit me up and he goes, because we talked about how we got on testosterone replacement therapy, episode 1, and how it's really benefited us substantially, right, with everything. And I've had a few people that hit me up and say, man, he goes, I should go get my levels checked, blah, blah, blah. And people have been getting on TRT. But let me just give you the background of this guy. This guy, once again, I'm not going to say who his name. I know he'll listen to this. He'll know who he is. He's 6'4", 315, played high-level football, marginal professional player. Almost, I'm not, if I say the team, unfortunately, people know who he is. But he, and he's just a hell of an athlete. Big, strong guy, deep voice, and the definition of masculine. You know what I'm saying? And he's lost a lot of weight over the years. He's much more fit than he was, but he was, like an offensive line. He's a tight end, an athletic tight end, right? But big, strong guy. And he messaged me the other day and he goes, dude, I listened to your first episode and I got my levels checked. He goes, they're so low, I'm basically a female.
It's fucking nuts.
I mean, my numbers were 217. That's ridiculously low. He was like a 104.
It was 125.
125. Yeah, he's low. He's a chick, basically, right? So I know.
So that prompted him to go get levels checked?
Yeah.
And that was kind of the whole point of doing this is if we can, if we can impact one man's life in a positive way. That man at 125, bro, the first week he gets on that, he's gonna be like, he's gonna wake up because it's such a slow grind from age 30 down to whatever your
he's
levels.
Probably 38. I bet he's 38.
Right, dude, it's such a slow grind. Not to mention the environmental factors, the food, everything else that we consume on a day-to-day basis is chipping away at that. And again, I believe it's by design. But the whole point of our podcast was if we can impact just one guy. Go get your shit checked. Just go look at it. Anybody watching this, just go look at it. If you're tired, if you're fatigued, if you feel like just not yourself, right? Just put yourself mentally back to when you were 25, 26, 27 years old. If you don't still feel like that, there's no reason to mope around. There's no reason that you should be feeling less than because it's a simple jab. It's a simple blood test. They'll tell you exactly what the fuck is wrong with you. And I tell you what, the second you take it, everything is better, sunnier, better, just every aspect of your life. Now, here's what I've been doing, dude. We've been tweaking the recipe a little bit. Like I took your advice to split it up a half a mil twice a week. Bro, I got rid of the CJC peptide and added this MK677. Bro, I've only been on that shit for a week. Dude, I'm starting. The abs are coming. Bro, I'm telling you, my shoulders have exploded.
He's got
week.
3 heads on him right now.
It's
Be ripped up in no time.
bro, it's insane. So I'm dropping weight. It's not fucking with the
You look leaner.
Yeah, for sure,
definitely.
dude. The MK is not messing with anything. I mean, if anything, it's a boost on top of the test in terms of gains. So do your guys' research on SARMs before you decide to take them. But dude, this 677, talk to me in 3 weeks and watch what happens.
Yeah,
dude, this is fucking insane. I'm having a great time with this. It's kind of like this neat little biohack. But I'm so happy that we can impact that guy's life, man. Hopefully he hops on it. You got any closing remarks, man? Give him something gold. What do you want to give him?
Shit, I don't know. What should I give them?
I don't know. I would say advice to someone looking to get into your line of work or any business.
I mean, I think any business is, man, it's patience. Everybody wants things quick, but patience is the key. It takes a while to build something good and quality, and it takes a while to build a brand. So, it's consistency and patience, and that's what I would give them as my little tidbit of advice.
Even us old men forget that sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we all do. I mean, it's natural to want to speed things up and get something quicker, and but you got to remind yourself.
Absolutely. What you got, Big E?
No, I don't know. I think what you just kind of made me think of there is I've seen this little trending vibe on maybe Instagram, TikTok or whatever. And it's like, I'm 40, I'll be 43 in a week. Oh, next Friday's my birthday.
Oh yeah,
we'll
boy.
have to party. We'll party.
The Big E birthday episode.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't know. It's like if you would have seen where I've came from, very low socioeconomic, and I'd say every 5 years I get to a new level. But I'm always I joke around. I'm always dwelling in the future, right? Yeah. And the truth is, if you would have said at age 23 that I would be where I'm at today, like I'm at today where I was dreaming of being at 23.
You know what's funny, or what's crazy? And I was thinking about this the other day. When I was living in Long Island, and my friends are working in like the union, and they're bringing home like $1,000 a week, right? And at the time, I was thinking like, man, if I could just make $1,000 a week consistently, I think I'd be happy.
52,000.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just how you're like perspective,
Yep.
and you shift your thinking. But I remembered that, like just that thought. Of maybe I should join the union. My buddy can get me in, and I'll just get that consistent check.
Yep,
and
that's a trap.
And I was like, $1,000 a week does sound good.
Like
consistently.
you can make it, like you can be good.
And
yeah.
It's a trap.
It's like, yeah, man, it's crazy. Like, so.
I'm teaching and she helps a ton. Just so you know, if it wasn't for her, I don't think I'd be thinking like this. She does help me go. Like relax and enjoy it for a little. Like it doesn't have to always be what's next. What do we got to do? So it's hard for me to shut it off.
Living in the presence.
Yeah.
No, it's very important to learn, man. But no, the 9 to 5 is a trap, man. And again, there's with the gig economy, with the prevalence of and I say this almost every episode, man. There's no excuse for poverty in this world anymore, especially this country. With the opportunity that is abound, if you possess the mental fortitude, the discipline, the positive mental capacity, because, dude, so many people just walk around negative constantly. This is what's wrong with this. This is what's wrong with this. Fuck that. Let's find out what's right. Mm-hmm. What am I good at? What can I bring to the table? What gap do I need to fill? Like my business right now has having a challenge filling this role that is critical to what it is, right? And it's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take a little bit more manpower. But guess what? The second we do it, and I was telling my other partner this, I said, bro, the second we implement these 3 strategies, because it took us 3 days to fill this part, and this part we're just in negotiations with. The second we do that, the money is going to 10x, and we're going to be like, fuck, we should have done this 10 years ago. But it's about, it's just about having the belief in yourself that, okay, we're going to pull this off. And we are. Just like we're pulling off the podcast, just like we're pulling off the real estate course, just like we're pulling off the sweepstakes, just like we're going to pull this off, because we know how to succeed. Most men that walk around today have no idea what it takes to actually move forward. And frankly, the magic recipe is it's all in here. It's all in here, right? With the firm and sublime belief that you will be able to pull off your goals. Just like you said, man, at 23, you're living the life that you dreamed of at 23. I could not dream of the life that I've actually provided for myself. I'll be honest with you. Like, it came hard, it came fast, and now there's no stopping us. So that's it, guys. What do you want? That's it.
I think that was three good tidbits. I think those will all be good YouTube shorts.
I agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the Burgers with Eric podcast. You can find new episodes on Spotify on Saturday and Monday on YouTube.